Hey everybody, so if you remember back a couple of weeks, I did a video where I asked my followers to let me know what they thought the most ugly motorcycle in the world was. It was pretty funny, you should check out that video. Thought let's go a bit more positive this time, and I said let me know what you think the best looking motorcycle, or one of the best looking motorcycles is. I don't think I can pin it down to one, so that's why I sort of left it open there. I did post this the first time and forgot to say not your own bikes, and yeah, we just got pictures of people's own bikes, and I understand you love your bike, and I will not deny that, but remember that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and not everyone will agree with you. But also it makes it more interesting if people actually pick something rather than just what they own. So let's just get into this, shall we? Okay, so we're starting off with this thing. I can't say it's the most beautiful bike in the world. It's interesting looking, it's pretty cool, but not that cool at the same time. Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R. Yeah, it's a pretty good looking bike. Can't say it's the best looking bike in the world myself, but yeah, I'd say each their own. And since I noticed that one bike looked like a trout eating a biscuit, now I can't unsee it. That's your own bike, and it has a top box. Most beautiful bike in the world cannot have a top box. At the time you take the picture anyway. I understand the usefulness. Not hating. Barry Sheen's bike, is that an RD 500? Am I remembering that right? I did say to people, hey, put the name there, and then I wouldn't have to try and guess one of the ones I don't know, because I don't know them all. But no, they haven't, so yeah. The Panigale, of course. I think this will get quite a lot of votes, because it is a very pretty looking bike. Can't say it's the most beautiful, but it is pretty. And in that colour scheme, it is pretty damn nice, I will admit. I'm now trying to work out what that is. Is that a BSA? People I now hate. I'm just going to shut up. It's a very classic looking bike. It is very pretty. I'm not a fan of choppers myself, but I do like the way that that's been sort of put together. It's quite quirky. Yamaha R1M. I have to say, I love the tail and I love the tank on the R1M. That sort of the seat section. This section here, I love this on this bike. The front is nice. I'm a little bit unsure about the light setup. It's a bit sort of boring and lost down here, in my opinion. I think more could have been done, maybe. Maybe just with some silver bits or something. But it kind of is so like sleek and nice up here, and then it's kind of like blah, blah, blah. Again, not hating. It's a damn nice looking bike. Apart from, I will question something. Why has this brake disc got holes in it, but this one hasn't? Why is there no holes in this brake disc? What's going on? You're not supposed to post your own bike, and I'm held in a quandary here because it is an XJ6. It is a DIVI. But no, the XJ6 is not the most beautiful bike in the world. Sorry, I'm going to say it. I own one, I can say it. This is your own bike, isn't it? The LXR is a good looking bike, but it's because it's kind of styled after a Panigale. 1999, Kawasaki ZX-7R. I do really like these bikes because they are from sort of a time when I was young and looking at bikes and was interested in things. We're like, wow, what is that? I don't know if I still like them as much as I did then, other than through nostalgia. Because let's face it, the tails were very big on them. But it is green and it is bold. It is a green machine. The Ducati Desma don't know. Every time I say it, I get it wrong. Desmodici? I don't know. It is a very pretty looking bike. It's very sleek and smooth, like a angry panther. Even its ears are like downturned. It looks like a really angry cougar. Yeah, it is a very pretty bike. And they sound amazing. 1965 to 1971. God, it didn't live long. It's a very classic looking bike. That is your bike. It's blatantly your bike. Kawasaki Z1000. Oh, people. It's very tricked out. It is very tricked out. I'll give it that. But I'll say it here, right. The Kawasaki's, I find them to be a bit hunched looking. And I'm not massively keen on that. It's just the hunch. Please, in the comments, someone agree with me if you don't like the hunched look. Take some of the hate. Suzuki RG250. It's a good looking bike. I think a lot of nostalgia is being included in this. But they are very cool because of the old two-strokes. This screams motorcycle to me. Well, it is indeed a motorcycle. BMW really does have some interesting looking engines. It does sort of fill the hole, doesn't it? It's 4 years before my birth. That's nearly 40 years old. People are going to just hate me because I don't like these bikes. I don't dislike them, it's not doing anything for me. Like this Triumph Bonneville T100, it's kind of cool, but it's kind of also a little too hipstered. The quilting in the seat, it was a step too far. Some will agree, some will throw up. I do like them, I do. I don't think they're the prettiest bikes in the world, but I do like the seat arrangement and stuff on them. Yeah, you know, each their own, each their own. Scott Flying Squirrel. Well, it wins on name. I have heard of the Flying Squirrel. Again, it's a very classic looking bike. It is a nice looking bike. Not sure it's the most beautiful in the world. It's a Harley. Some will and will not agree. Baron's S1000RR. Yeah, I saw that in person. I actually got some pictures of it. It's very nice. It has been nicely done. I do like the paint on the wheels and stuff. If I could be critical, I would have put this line here along that line there as well. That's it. I just don't know. It just struck me. But then, you know, whatever. But then the S1000RR itself, really like the tail. I don't like. Yeah, it's a good looking bike. But it just doesn't. It's not pretty. It's kind of brutal good looking. KTM RC8. I have ridden this bike. I have a video on it. Thanks to the Griffiths let me ride his bike. I do really like the tail on this. I do like the way this bike looks. I think it is a good looking bike, and it's almost pretty in ways. Then to other people it might look like an Apache gunship, but then that can be seen as pretty in ways. It's high on my list. Is a unique looking bike. That's one of the things. I don't like things that are too samey, so I do like it for that. It's very, very small, so we'll just say an Aerial Squirrel 4. Well, it's got squirrel on the name, so jolly good. RC30. It is a good looking bike, I will say that. I've seen quite a few of them, and I'm always like, it stands out as looking pretty nice. The paint scheme really helps. And even though it's got the classic sort of round lights, it's got the mirrors that kind of fit in with it, and it all just kind of, it shows it's again a bike of its age. Got to be a contender. It is my XJ6, and as previously stated, look how filthy it is. God, the shame. No, it's not the best looking bike in the world. Panigale, again. Yeah, I can see it. I can see it. It's one of the better looking bikes. I'd say Bruff Superior. I think these things are frigging cool. I'd love to have a ride on one. Never going to get a chance to do that. But I've seen one in person at a show, and they're just really nicely made. They look like they're very sort of steampunky, old-fashioned made looking things, but ultra-modern looking at the same time. They're a very strange combination. I actually really like them. MV Agusta F4 Senna. Yeah, I have to agree. The MV Agustas, some of them are very nice looking. They're very sort of, they remind me of sort of, well, they're an Italian cut, as it were, when it comes to a motorcycle. It is very nice. But then very Ducati-like in ways, and then not in others. The Moto Guzzi V85 TT. It is a cool looking bike. I really like the paint scheme and the way they've done the trellis frame in red and like made that all stand out. It does also look like a boss-eyed duck in ways, but yeah, as far as that sort of style bike goes, it is pretty nice. Triumph Daytona 675. I have to agree, actually, the Daytona is a very nice looking bike. I've always really liked them. Bit small for me when I sat on one. I would have made it work somehow, but yeah, there's a lot about that bike I like. I think in a way because it kind of half reminds me of a 996 in ways and not in others. Ducati 916, well, we were just talking about the 996. I prefer the 996 to the 916, but it is a very nice looking bike. And of course it was used in the film Fled, because he had a 919 and he was like, aha, Puffy told me that he knows I know the bikes and this is a 916, not a 919. How do I remember that? I'm sure that's all correct. Kawasaki 7XR 750, all the way from 1993. I do like the old tubes that used to go into the intake, like the forced induction or whatever it is. I used to think that was the coolest thing ever, and then they stopped doing it. And look, it's got a spoiler. It's got a goddamn spoiler. 1946 Harley EL Knucklehead. It is a cool looking bike, I suppose. Not into Harleys myself, but at least the technology was of its age at the time. That is a very bat bike looking bike. They definitely said, let's make a bat bike. But in a way, it is kind of cool. I kind of like it, but I'd never want one, if you know what I mean. That's the front end of the one we looked at earlier, and you can barely tell that it is. KTM 1290 Super Duke R. Now, do you happen to own this bike? Maybe. Or maybe don't. I do think they look very cool in a very sort of almost, it's not quite transformery. It's kind of, I can't put my finger on it. It's very industrial looking. I do kind of like it and at the same time don't like it for the same reasons. It's kind of, I switch backwards and forwards at times. MV Agusta Brutale 800RR. I've seen better paint schemes in my opinion, but yes, it is very nice. Still not sold on the side exhausts make it a unique thing. You know what it is. That paint scheme and everything, that is very nice. It's a bit lost in the middle for me. I think it needed some red down here, more of it. But it's the shape is the main thing. It's the tail. No, no. Yamaha RD350 LC. It's a very cool paint scheme. The exhausts are cool. So now we've got another MV Agusta. That's one of the paint schemes I really like. The white wheels really set that off. The very short tail on them kind of makes them very Street Fighter-y. It's kind of, yeah, it definitely needs to lose this though. It's just a regulations thing. RE Interceptor. You should test one of these, Spicy. Very generic looking motorcycle, that. And that brown is... I can't go with that sunburnt orange brown. What we got here? NC30 again, yeah. Making big structural parts of the frame out of chains is a pretty impressive thing, because you have to make sure those welds are properly strong. But I can see why people would appreciate it. RGV 500 in the Lucky Strike look. It is an iconic look. It is pretty cool. Okay, the video is starting to get a little bit long, so we're going to whip through some of these. Norton Commando 850. It is a very classic looking bike. But to me, this sort of bike, there's so many of them look so similar. Mondial Pagani. It's a pretty cool looking bike, I'll give it that. Very crow-like beak. I really do need to ride one of the Hyper Motards at some point, because it's my sort of bike, obviously. It's a Blackbird. I very, very, very nearly bought one of these. And I mean really nearly bought one. But then I realised how big it was and I had to get it down the side of my house and I was like, no. Dragster again. Oh god, no. Sorry. Very classic looking headlight. No, not in that paint scheme. I do think that year of VFR actually looks quite nice, especially in white. It's very clean. Daytona, already said I do like them. I'm not going to hate because it's a scooter, but crikey. Classic R1 with the square tail. Well, again, that's a bike from the time that I was looking at bikes, so it was one of those ones I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Kawasaki H1 Mach 3. Kind of looks like a van though. Oh, I don't know about that. It's interesting. It's very different. It looks like it should be made by Lego. Triumph T100. The older Street Triple. I currently have the brand new 2020 RS on loan that I'm doing videos on. I prefer the look of the older one, maybe. The headlight arrangement, I actually did like that maybe slightly more. But I prefer most of the rest of the bike from the new one. Beast. I've ridden this bike. It is a very cool looking bike and I was very lucky to get to ride it. I have a video on it if you want to see it. That's Guy Martin's bike that he rode to Pikes Peak, isn't it? I can't say it's the most beautiful bike in the world, but it certainly sounded pretty mad. Wasn't running great as I remember, and he still won. GPZ 500. I know someone who would agree with you. Reminds me of a Pokemon, and I don't know what one. R9T. I do like the R9T, I'll be honest. I know it's very hipsterish in ways, depending on the mod, but some of the classic ones, let me see if I can find some pictures and I'll show you. So here's one of my contenders, the Ducati 996. I really like this bike, but I know it's very nostalgic for me because I just saw a couple of them round and just kept like idolising them a bit, and then I saw one for sale for like $5,000 in a Hein Garrick. And it was at a time that I'd got my 125 and I was like, wow, I could actually own that thing, that'd be so cool. And then I was like, no, I'm too big for it, so I never could. So it was kind of like that thing that I always liked the look of the bike, but I knew that I'd never probably be able to ride it comfortably because they're not very big. But this is another one I saw in Havant, as I say, years and years and years ago. And yeah, I like it. There's a picture of me running over a snake. There is a picture of a DRZ and I didn't like the front headlight. Here's a picture of me riding a jet ski in a field. Here's a picture from one of my first meets. Who was there who's watching this now? You should watch the video, New Bike for the Garden Snake. I can't even remember what this bike is, but I obviously liked it at the time. Norton Dommy Racer, anyone? I have a video on that. The thing sounds incredible. Oh, it is such a beautiful evening. I am so happy to be here. I wouldn't be, love. He's a bright bastard. What do you mean? He's going to look after me. He's going to ride you down the beach in the salt and the rain and the sand. No, yeah, no, yeah. I found the picture of the R9T I want to show you that I thought was quite nice, but also remember this. This bike had more of an impression on me than pretty much any bike I've seen in years. I love this bike. It looks so good. You might not agree with me, and that is fine, but I think it's great. Very cool. Oh look, it's some Nortons from the day that a lot of people got taken for a ride and the bikes didn't. You have to like the video for this image alone if you got this far into it. This is one of the R9Ts that I would think of when I think of one of the best ones that I've seen. I really like it. It's pretty cool. Okay, this was another R9T that I thought was really nice. There is a video on this on my channel. It's from the R9T first ride that I did years ago. I go and show these closer up. Yeah, this is really nice, this bike. Go and watch that video. Okay, we'll end it there. I thought I'd do this one a little bit longer, show you some of the cool things I've seen over the years. If you enjoyed the video, smack the like button. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button. And if you really want to help me, please consider joining my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to see future videos. This channel is made possible by the support of the audience. Please consider joining my Patreon to get early access to videos, questions answered in the monthly Q&A, your name on screen, and some exclusive content, all for as little as $1 a month. You can also check out the links in the description to my merch and other ways to directly support the channel. Thanks for watching.